Makel was killed in the driveway of his home in 2014. I'm Ava Van Valen.
And I'm Channing Frampton. A grand jury has now indicted Charlie Adelson in Makel's death, the uncle of Dan Makel's 2 children.
I don't, listen, if a badge comes up to you, tell them have a nice day, officer. Listen, if they want to charge you with something, charge me. If not, I don't talk to cops. Sorry. Okay, this scene, piece of genius, this was up in the morning in America. This was up New York Times. This was in Facebook.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
What's going on, my fellow peeps? If y'all are new to the channel, make sure y'all hit that like button, because obviously YouTube does not like me, and guess what? It's mutual. Subscribe if you want to, but let's jump into the case. Obviously, you know we're going back to the murder of Dan Makel. So yeah, I'm basically just recapping of what I think, and I'm gonna play Jeff LaCasse. He is an awesome person, man. I mean, I hate to say it, potential stalker, someone who loves someone just a little too much, but you know what? You got to respect the dude. He was actually going to be framed for this murder. I mean, they would have figured out that, you know, he probably didn't do it, but, you know, he was a fall guy. Sucks to be him. I'm sorry for him, man. You just, you know, when you fall in love sometimes and you just blinded. And it's sad because Wendi talked about Dan so goddamn much that he believed it. Ain't no effing way. You would not convince me that somebody will manipulate me to the fact that, you know what, the other person ain't shit. This ain't shit. Excuse my language, y'all. Just ain't shit. But you know, I got to play some of his interview with the police, and then I'm going to play some of his testimony in court. But again, shout out to him. I mean, he's just lucky. He's lucky that he wasn't pinned for this. But here we go. Y'all listen closely. He is a star in this case.
We have mutual friends, but a lot of my friends are in the Jewish community and school of social works. You people talk to a lot of the same people. Throughout the investigation, your name came up a couple times.
You talked to who? Who'd you talk to?
Well, like the Gamoris, the Epsteins, the Cohens. There's just a lot of mutual. My dissertation chair, I got my PhD here, and I came back. My dissertation chair, like Makel and Adelson would have their they go to my mentor's house for Jewish holidays, things like that. So we met as our mutual friends. It was kind of a natural thing. Our two single people in town, both academics, etc.
You and Wendi?
Yeah, me and Wendi. Yeah. And she sat me down, I think it was June 5th or 7th. I will find out for you if you would like.
Yeah.
And she just said, I can't do that because it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense.
So she'd already said that date was that window of...
She said, this is the 1 week I have to go see your parents. And I said,
through the night.
but that was in May. Then we have the fight. I found out about Daniel's sack. And afterwards she says, you know, I feel comfortable with that. She just had an appointment with her therapist, and she said, my main concern is I want to be able to see the kids on that date, the day that Danny was shot. We have people volunteering to babysit if they needed to, if we were delayed. We weren't going to be delayed. And she insisted it was not because she didn't want to go with me. She wanted to spend that week with me. She just wanted to spend that week with me in Tallahassee. She did not want to leave Tallahassee that week.
Okay.
I mean, there's 3 different times. There's that time, then there's the staycation thing. We're like, what are you talking about? That's bizarre. And then there was when we scheduled the trip to St. Augustine. But fast forward a little bit, and we had the trip to St. Augustine planned until July 15th or 16th, and she canceled that July 2nd. So 3 different times she canceled plans with me in 2 or 3 week period again.
So then you want to take her to St. Augustine.
Yeah, she wants to stay, and that's just bizarre.
But did you ever make plans to go to St. Augustine?
Yeah, so a week later, again, it was out front of the calendar, and it was really strange. There was this hesitancy about that weekend. She says, I'll go to St. Augustine, but we have to be back early on Friday.
Early on Friday?
Early on Friday.
What is early on Friday?
We were going to wake up and come straight back from St. Augustine, so we would have got up at 7, been here by 9 or 10.
Okay.
The kids' school till 4 didn't make sense.
Okay.
So I said fine, and my thing was I was going to drop her off and then drive up to Atlanta. I was going to drop her off and go. So that was just strange, just stuck in my head. Like, what?
Because your trip to your friend up in Tennessee, what was the date you were supposed to go?
I was supposed to leave at about 10 or 11 a.m. on Friday the 18th.
Okay.
So I was supposed to the original trip was to go straight to Atlanta, stay the night in Atlanta, then go to Tennessee the next day. So I'm supposed to leave here at 10 or 11 and get there at 4 or 5.
On Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon.
Honestly, I don't see how Wendy's not convicted. I mean, this man's police interview basically says it all. This chick is a narcissist. She manipulated him, and guess what? If he did not go out of town that day, he would have been a suspect for the murder of Dan Makel. I mean, they played him. The whole family played him. And I want y'all to listen to his testimony while he was on the stand. It's like they were using him. Sad, but here we go, y'all. Here we go.
All right, so did you go to her residence that evening?
I did.
And what happened when you got there?
Well, on the way there, I remember contacting her and asking her, do you want me to stop and get some stomach medicine or something like that? And didn't. I believe she told me not to. Once I got there, she hemmed and hawed a little bit, and then eventually I left. Because she was a complete anxious wreck. She didn't have the flu. She didn't have food poisoning. She was just a nervous, anxious wreck, and it was affecting her stomach. So after a little while, I drove to a nearby convenience store to go get her Pepto-Bismol, which I recall because I have a credit card receipt from this random convenience store a few miles from her house.
All right, so she was a nervous wreck that night, and did she tell you what the problem was or not?
No, there was no discernible. I couldn't figure it out. She didn't tell me.
Okay. All right. Was there a time when you were over at Miss Adelson's residence and you observed that her TV was broken?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that. When did that occur?
That would have been around the week of June 11th to 18th, somewhere in that time period. I went over Wendy's to spend time with her and the kids, and she asked me to take a look at the television. I turned it on. She said there was a problem with the TV, so I turned it on expecting to see like input 1 flashing, or the kids pushed the wrong button or whatever. And what I'm looking at when I turn it on is a screen that's been partially shattered, that's been struck by an object. So she had a broken TV.
All right, and did she tell you what happened to the TV, how it got into that?
No, she kind of asked me to look into the TV, as if she didn't know. I looked around. It was impossible to me that the kids would have done it, but I didn't know of a better explanation at the time. So I was kind of mystified as to what happened. It looked like a human being stood, between 5 and 6 foot, something like that, and stood in front of it and hit it. That's what it looked like. But she was asking me.
Okay, so it was like an impact mark, like a round impact with spider webs.
Exactly. Then the pixels are distorted. Most people have probably seen this. So it's, and it wasn't completely shattered. You could sort of see what was going on in the television, but it's not a TV anybody would normally watch.
Okay. All right, so let's move away from the TV for now. Was there a date that you had with Wendi Adelson on, gosh, have I gone backwards in time here? It was the day before her birthday. What was the date of that?
We were scheduled to have a date. The day before her birthday is April 21st. We were scheduled to have kind of a special date night that night. Wendi didn't answer her phone, didn't answer texts, and I got so concerned about her. A few hours after the date was supposed to have started, I just drove over there to check on her, knocked on the door for a while. She finally came to the door. Appeared to be intoxicated, and not just on alcohol. I mean, weary-eyed. I'm not sure what substances, but it wasn't good. She wanted me to stay, and I was annoyed enough that I actually just left. I didn't stay the night. So.
Okay, so I kind of got our timeline out of order, but some erratic behavior from her on April 21st, and then again on June 4th.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to approach and show you a text message that was sent on June 28th of 2014. And I've marked it as State's Exhibit 141. Have you ever had a chance to review this text message before?
Yeah, you showed this to me last week.
All right, and this message had never been shown to you before last week, right?
Right.
And it's been testified that this was from Wendi Adelson to her brother Rob Adelson, but it concerns you.
Yes.
Is there anything factually incorrect in what Wendi Adelson is stating in that text message?
Well, he says I haven't told Mom and Dad about me. I met them multiple times. It's impossible that they didn't know we were dating. For example, I was aware that Donna wasn't thrilled that I wasn't Jewish. So that doesn't add it. This doesn't make sense to me in terms of like seeing me for 6 or 7 months.
So in that text message, she's saying, that you're a secret boyfriend from the parents. Were you a secret boyfriend from the parents at that time?
it's implausible. No, I don't think
In
so.
fact, you met the parents several times.
Yeah, and had conversations with them, limited conversations, but conversations. And the other part that's, I think, really significant is the kids talked about me constantly. I have all kinds of text messages and emails where Wendy's mentioning the kids are down in South Florida talking about me.
Again, kudos to Jeff, man, because you're lucky, dude. But I also wanted to do something different because a lot of times that when I made videos, I didn't put stuff in order. And so we're moving on to Katie Magbanua. Yeah, that's what I call her, Magbanua, because I can't say her name. So look at this crazy chick. You had 2 immunity deals, 2, not just 1, 2, where you could have been home with your kids and walking free. But no, you decided to protect the scumbag who unalived somebody and didn't care for money. I mean, are y'all that broke where you need money and that money's not gonna last because you unalive a human being? Let's be real, man. So this silicone titty bitch, I'm sorry guys, I shouldn't have said that. This lady here is an idiot. And what kills me is that she is still minimizing her role in the murder. I mean, just listen to her testimony on the stand. It's like, I don't know, well, possibly. Y'all know more. What I feel is that just because they didn't talk on cell phones didn't mean they didn't meet in person. I'm talking about her, Donna, and Charlie. I don't know if the husband's involved. I'm talking about Harvey, but I'm pretty sure he knew. Imagine if your dog died. The whole family would fucking know, wouldn't they? I mean, if my dog died, I'll tell everybody. But a man is murdered and y'all don't know shit? Crazy work, man. But this idiot here still minimizing her role on the stand. She's only been to 2 trials. Mistrial the first one, second one she's found. I mean, her attitude alone, she should have been found guilty. But let's get into her testimony, y'all. Here we go.
When did Charlie Adelson first bring this idea up to you that I'm looking for someone to harm my brother-in-law?
This was around October. What stuck out in my head was on Halloween on October 31st.
Okay. And what year was that?
That was 2013.
Okay. And so on Halloween, what is your memory of what y'all were doing that night that you're able to remember that happened that night?
Well, we were out in Lincoln Road. It was like a kind of like a block party in Lincoln Road. And then when we were getting ready to get into our cars, he jumped into my car and he basically suggested that, do I know anybody that can harm someone?
Okay. And were those the words he used, harm?
Yes.
And did you know somebody that could harm someone?
Yes, ma'am. At that time, I mean, Sigfredo was the first person that kind of popped in my head.
In these conversations, are you asked, like, have you secured anyone? Are you asked further questions about who's going to be doing it?
No, ma'am.
Did you tell him, like, yes, I can do it?
Yes, I just agreed to it.
Okay.
That I had somebody.
All right. And during these conversations with Charlie Adelson, was there ever a time when he's in the middle of these conversations with you about what's going to happen, speaking to his mother?
Sometimes he would get on the phone, he'd kind of look at me weird, and then just step out of the room and discuss whatever he needed to discuss.
On the rule, she's talking about what took place, not the substance of the conversation, so you may continue.
All right, so he would step out, have a conversation with his mother, and then come back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you would resume the conversation about.
Yeah, he would just kind of go off again, saying that this needed to be taken care of and what his family was going through.
All right. How many times did this particular situation happen where you were discussing what would eventually become the murder and his mother was interjected in that way that you just described?
How many times did I think he stepped out and speak to him? A number of times.
More than twice?
Yes, ma'am.
More than 5 times?
Yes, ma'am.
So this was like a regular part of the way this worked whenever this conversation came up?
Yes,
he would consult his mother and come back and speak to you.
I mean, she is truly minimizing her role in this fucking crime, just like the mother, Donna Adelson. It's just horrible, man. I mean, as the matriarch in the family, you would think that you would be smart enough not to fucking wash money. I mean, you watch too much true crime. And shout out to the other YouTubers who cover this case, man. I appreciate you guys, but now y'all kind of getting redundant. Y'all got to put some enthusiasm in your fucking videos. I'm tired of watching videos. You know what? Fuck it. Let's get on. But I'm tired of sitting here binge watching the testimony of Wendi. I mean, has anybody else watched the fucking testimony of Wendi Adelson like 18 times? I mean, this chick basically sits on the stand and lies. I mean, you can tell she lies, and it's annoying too, because you know she's full of shit. Ain't no way that you did not know that these idiots were gonna come murder your ex-husband. There's no way. And then the audacity of these people to think they were gonna get off. Like this dude, Charlie Adelson. Come on, man. All that coke you're snorting, you would think that being from the not from the streets, but saying you got connections in the streets, you would think somebody from the streets would be like, dude, that's a stupid ass plan, right? Why would I go do that for? Everything's gonna trace back. And I know it took 10 years, 10, 11 years for them to solve this crime, but you know, good work, detective work, you know, to get it solved. But you would think that the FBI being involved with all the resources they got, that they would have found shit out earlier. But you know what? It's law enforcement, man. And I was prior law enforcement, so I know how much of idiots we are. You know, if it's work related or work we have to do, I ain't gonna get it done. Put it on the back burner. But the only reason this case was so forefront because it's in the news. But you know, this man here, don't know him personally, but was a father who wanted to be around his kids, and he got on the live for trying to get his kids and be around his kids. And this woman, Miss Wendi Adelson, the mastermind, y'all don't know this. She's very smart. And again, my videos are only my opinion. I'm not saying she's guilty. You know, she hasn't been charged, but she is the mastermind. She is smart. You can tell that she has basically said, I don't know shit. Nobody's told me shit. But as soon as they murdered my ex-husband, I went and changed my children's name back to my maiden name. I mean, how so telling is that? You know, now they got her friend, the friend that she's supposedly, well, she did go to that day of the murder because she's so fucking dumb that she pulled up to the crime scene and then did a U-turn and turned around. But her friend is like, look, man, her family's been bashing Dan once he got killed, before he got killed. So you might want to look into Wendi. And I don't know if an indictment's coming for the counts that everybody else was convicted of, but I'm pretty sure that hopefully an indictment will come because she deserves it. There's no way this lady's walking free, living her life. And they said she had about 13 boyfriends, and luckily I wasn't one. I mean, would I date Wendi before I know that she was a fucking murderer? Probably so. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But it's sad that she was able to get away, possibly, with murder. I mean, let's be honest, y'all. This woman has stole this man's money, stole this man's jewelry, moved out of state within 2 days after the murder. And the funny thing is, when they said about the call where the detectives called her and she made that I can't hear you, hung the fucking phone up, and guess who called them back? The lawyer. I mean, she's smart, you know. And shout out to the prosecutors. I knew them goddamn 6 or 7 years you went to law school that was gonna work. It's like the Murdoch prosecutor, just awesome. Don't give them any room. Do not relent. But the defense attorneys, man, y'all just gave the prosecutor the case. All you're doing is confirming that she's guilty. I mean, them lawyers didn't really have no defense. You know, when they'll re-interview or re-question the witnesses, basically saying, you know, Donna is a mother who looks out for her child. Donna is respectful. Donna would do this. Donna would do that. Yeah, Donna would have your ass killed, basically. I mean, come on, man. That's why she got convicted. The privilege of these people. If y'all check out my other videos, I mean, I don't really break it down, but you know, but the nerve of these people, privilege, it's sad. I mean, it's the have and haves nots in society. Katie Magbanua needed money. She needed some new breasts. She got that. Garcia, whatever, Alfredo Garcia and Rivera, them two dummies, the dumbest hitman ever. How do you shoot a hole in a rental car looking for drugs? They should have knew it was doomed then. That's how you know people don't have street smarts or common sense, because there's no way I would have hired them two idiots. And the Katie chick, you should have took the immunity deal. You should have took it and snitched on everybody. I would have snitched on everybody. And I know she knows more. I know she does. I know that they all met up and they all talked about it. And I'm not saying, what's her name, Wendi. I don't think she was there because she was in Tallahassee. But those other 2 people or 3 people, Charlie, Donna, and Katie, I'm pretty sure they met up and said this is how it's going to go down. And I'm pretty sure they're all, even the 2 losers that got caught, they minimizing their roles in this shit. But, you know, rest in peace to Dan Makel. All jokes aside, a man out honestly lost his life in this case. And, you know, his 2 sons don't have a father because of their selfish mother. And hopefully she gets, you know, they get justice. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. I love y'all, and I'm out.